This is Red, White, and Bluegrass.
There's a saying on the cynical side of politics: never let a good crisis go to waste. As the shutdown absorbs the attention between Republicans and Democrats on social media and 24-hour news, it's firing up thousands of their followers to get behind their side's spin. Fundraising emails are going out saying now is a call to action. The DNC reportedly raised $850,000 in the 24 hours leading to the shutdown. The RNC pulled in over $1 million during the first half of the week. So to wrap the conversation on this week's show, we want to dive into the nuance and the tactics of the politics behind the shutdown. Representative Roberts, we still have a bit of time until the midterms. Does this have staying power to really matter to voters by then?
I think it's absolutely going to matter, and I think it's going to backfire on the Democrats gloriously. We see a New York Times poll showing that more than 60% of Americans don't think the Democrats should shut down the government. We see very clearly the motivations behind it. What we have is a clean bill that keeps our spending at its current levels. And by the way, this is mostly Joe Biden's spending levels, and somehow that's not enough for the modern Democrat Party. And I think it's because they're seeking out a new constituency, because they're seeing that they've lost out on the groups, especially when you look at who is against this government shutdown: farmer groups, veteran care groups, labor unions, air traffic control, current military. You have so many individuals that are riding upon this government going in. But there's been a politicization effort in order to shut down the government, largely to obstruct the Trump agenda, realizing that President Trump's not eligible to run for re-election. So the best thing that you can do as a congressional Democrat in the minority is obstruct.
Mr. Yarmuth, what do you think of that?
Well, first of all, the latest poll, which was just out this morning, I think, said that 47% of the American people blame the Republicans for the shutdown, 30% blame the Democrats. So I'm not sure that the message that this is a Democratic shutdown is getting very far. And of course, Republicans control the White House, the House, and the Senate. They're in charge of the government. So to try to lay this on the Democrats is a little bit rings hollow. Secondly, I agree with Representative Roberts. Everybody's against the shutdown. Nobody wants the government to be shut down, except Donald Trump, apparently, who has talked and bragged about being able to use this as an opportunity to cancel programs, to fire people, and so forth. That's why I think ultimately this is going to be, whatever political impact there's going to be, is going to be on balance, I think, helping the Democrats rather than Republicans. But I don't think in the final analysis it's going to make much difference politically. Most everything that happens today ends up being a Rorschach test. You react the way where you're coming from. And Democrats are going to say, you know, we're in the right, and Republicans are going to stay in the right, and it's not going to move people one way or another. That's what's happened in prior shutdowns. Nobody's really gained anything politically from it.
Well, the question we still haven't asked this morning is, how do you think that this ultimately ends? Whose side do you think is going to end up getting what they want in order to move past this, and what's going to be the ultimate indicator, whether it be polling or what have you, that kind of moves them to the table?
I don't think either side's going to get anything that they particularly want out of this. Once again, the Republicans started at a 7-week clean spending bill to maintain spending at current levels, where the Democrats have a wish list of $1.5 trillion of additional money, including health care for illegal immigrants. That is directly in the bill text on page 57 of the Schumer bill. I don't think they're going to get that, because I don't think the Republicans would have the votes to make such an authorization. I think we're seeing immigration becoming a crucial issue on the Republican issue, and just on the issue of reality. We have so many illegal immigrants, Bodie, that we don't know how to adequately count them, and securing our border is a top priority. So ultimately, I think keeping the spending at the same level, I don't think this continuing resolution is there for political points one way or the other. So I don't think this is a political win for either side.
About 30 seconds.
That's the only thing I agree with him on. I really don't think it's going to make much difference politically. I do believe that when you're talking about going back and raising the immigration issue, trying to paint this as an immigration issue, is a typical Republican strategy these days, because that's really the only issue in which they have any political momentum. And so it's going to be an interesting political year as we move toward the midterms. And I think in terms of your question, when's it going to end? I think unfortunately it's going to be when Donald Trump decides it's going to end, because he's calling the shots with the Republican Congress, and the Congress is basically bowing to his will.
All right, gentlemen, thank you both for your insight.